All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something that every tabletop gamer knows and, let's be honest, kind of dreads. The combat encounter that drags on for an entire hour. We're going to look at a system that's designed to fix all that, and it all comes down to a single roll of the dice. Man, if you've ever sat at a gaming table, you know this feeling deep in your bones, right? The battle starts, everyone's excited, and then you just wait and wait. This quote just hits the nail on the head. It's not just boring, it's mentally draining. It completely saps the energy from the room. So before we can appreciate the solution, we've really got to understand the problem. Let's break down exactly why traditional combat gets so bogged down in what the source material calls linear processing. And this right here is the heart of it, the crisis of the spectator. It's just a constant cycle of waiting. You're waiting for the DM to say, yes, you can do that. You're waiting for your turn, which could be 10 minutes away. Then you wait to see if you even hit. Each little pause builds up and creates this cognitive fatigue, turning you from an active hero into someone just watching the game happen. And wow, look at this. This side-by-side just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way. Roll, wait, roll again. It's this fragmented, step-by-step process. And on the right, the multiverse dice master approach. One roll. That's it. It's not just a small change. It's a complete shift in philosophy. So the big question is, how on earth can one roll do the job of 4 or more? Well, this is where we shift from a slow, number-crunching simulation to what this system calls story physics, where the rules are built for speed and narrative momentum. The secret sauce here is something called parallel processing. Instead of figuring things out one at a time, this method grabs all the data it needs and resolves it all at once. Seriously, it's like your game just went from old-school dial-up to blazing fast fiber internet. And the engine that drives all of this is the attack initiative. It's super simple. At the start of the round, everybody, and I mean players and monsters, rolls 2 20-sided dice, adds any magical bonuses, and that one number, that's it. That number tells you everything you need to know for the entire round. Now, this is where it gets kind of mind-blowing. Look at all the stuff that single number figures out for you instantly. Your turn order, whether you hit, how many attacks you get, your reactions, your movement, even your damage. All of it. It works because the math is all front-loaded into a smart system. You just roll once and you're free to focus on telling the story. So you're probably thinking, okay, this sounds like some kind of wizardry. Well, it's not magic, but it is a really clever engine that the system calls the combat matrix. Let's pull back the curtain and see how this combat microprocessor actually works. The combat matrix is basically a logic engine. You feed it one input, your attack initiative roll, and boom, it spits out all your results. It's called a state machine, which just means it gives you a clear, predictable outcome every time. This gets rid of all the back and forth with the DM and makes the results so simple that anyone, or even an AI, could easily understand them. And here's a little peek at what those outputs look like. You can see it's a simple tiered system. A decent roll, say a 15, gets you 1 attack and 1 reaction. Standard stuff. But as that roll climbs, your character's actions become way more heroic. The first big jump is at 22. When you hit this number or higher, any special skill or training your character has, their feats, just kicks in automatically. You don't have to remember to use it. The roll itself says your hero's instincts took over. It's just baked right in. But this is where things get truly cinematic. If you manage to roll a 33 or higher, you've crossed what's called the threshold of excellence. This is when your character stops just being a game piece and starts feeling like the hero of an action movie. So what's the prize for rolling so well? You get a signature move, and it is a huge deal. You automatically dodge any nasty effects for the round, you can pull off a cool battle maneuver, and you get a free attack on a nearby enemy. But here's the best part. You get to narrate it. You tell everyone at the table exactly how your character pulls off this incredible moment. So what does this all add up to at the game table? By moving all the math to the very start of the round, you completely change the feel of the game. You're shifting the focus from crunching numbers to telling a great story. We've all been here. 60 minutes, sometimes more, for just one fight. It's become the standard, the thing we just expect and accept. Now, what if we could turn that hour-long slog into this? 15 minutes. A fast, intense, high-octane thrill ride. By getting the numbers out of the way first, the game can finally move at the speed of the story. And this, right here, is the whole point.
It's not about being faster just for the sake of it. It's about taking the mental load off your shoulders. When you're not constantly asking, what's my bonus to hit, your brain is free to do the fun stuff, being creative, role-playing your character, and building an epic story with your friends.
Okay, last but not least, what about waiting for your turn? How does this system get rid of that downtime and keep every single person at the table locked in for the entire fight? The answer is countdown initiative. You can totally forget about the old way of going one by one around the table. Here, the DM just acts like a ticking clock, calling out numbers from the highest roll of the round all the way down to 1. When your number's called, you act.
The whole thing creates this awesome rhythm using something called the OODA loop, which cleverly splits up the mental work. The DM's job is to observe and orient. They paint the picture of what's happening. Then it's over to you, the players, to decide and act. And since you already know what your role accomplished, you're just waiting for your number to be called so you can describe your awesome move. And this is the absolute game changer. You are always engaged. The countdown is ticking, and you have actions, like reactions, that you can use at any time. So if an orc starts charging on initiative 25, your character, who acts on 15, can decide to use a parry right then and there. You're not waiting your turn. You're watching the whole battlefield, making tactical choices in real time.
And in the end, that's what this all comes down to. This is about removing the friction between your ideas and the story you're trying to tell. It leaves us with a really powerful question. What kind of amazing adventures could you have if the game's rules could finally keep up with your imagination?